takes so much effort to produce a smile these days.
Over the past 21 centuries, romance has been a reoccurring theme in the never-ending horror story of the downfall of mankind. Which is to say that Valentine's Day is upon us yet again. Since it's that time of year, I figured that now is as good a time as any to finally share one of the cringiest things I've ever done in my entire life, even though I'm only 19. It all started in November 2017. During this time, I was a sophomore in high school, and like most of the people around me at the time, I was depressed. I was right in the middle of my parents' divorce and going through a combination of other things I'd need hours to explain. So, naturally, being a fat, depressed kid going through puberty, I put all my hope and positive energy into something I had yet to understand at the time. A simp is defined by the Urban Dictionary as one who is overly desperate for the affection of someone they are attracted to. The term didn't gain popularity until 2019, but it really started in 2017 because I'm pretty sure I'm the dumbass that created it. That's right, ho. I'm the OG of this simping game, you dig? Oh god, kill me. There was this girl who sat next to me in my math class named Jada, and she was alright. I mean, at the time she was the most beautiful thing in the world to me, but now it's like a college dude in like a co-ed dorm. I'm reminded every day of how wrong I was. Not to say she's ugly, she's The point is, I really like this girl. She was the first person I ever opened up to about everything I was dealing with, and she told me a lot about her past too. It felt like we had that type of friendship where we could just joke about dumb stuff in one message then confide in each other in another. But like I said earlier, my dumb ass thought we had chemistry, and that was more than a good enough reason for me to catch feet. Around the time when we were still in the early stages of our friendship, I was coerced by my friends to join the poetry club. I was still barely a rapper at the time, so having a chance to hone in my skills was perfect for my growth. Every year, the club would throw a poetry slam night where everyone in the club would compete with 2 poems in front of the whole school. I was determined to win it and prove to that ghetto suburban public school that I was more than a chubby, depressed little boy. See, saying that out loud makes it sound weirder. Okay, moving forward. I sat at my desk with my rhyme book and pen in hand and wrote away. But for the life of me, I just couldn't do it. My mind drew a blank, I was stuck in a box with no conceivable way out, and I started just losing my shit. Oh god, what if I go up there and choke after gassing myself up for 2 months? What would everyone say? What if Dennis makes it up there in the final round and I don't? What if Zach makes it up there in the final round and I don't? But then, I got a text on my phone. It was none other than Jada sending me a meme she saw earlier that day. Then it all just kind of poured out of me. And next thing I knew, I'd written the poem. And I decided to call it The night of the poetry slam, I was thoroughly shitting myself. I looked out at the crowd from behind the curtains and saw at least 100.5 faces staring back at us. I literally almost threw up. Luckily, I wasn't the only one in a state of never-ending dread. My friends were also having a tough time calming down. So, in an attempt to calm myself down too, I pep-talked the hell out of them. Okay everyone, tonight's the night. All those arduous weeks of practicing have led to this moment. For years, most of us have taken all our pain and carried it on our shoulders. But tonight, we will let it all out. This show isn't about who's the best poet or who's got the best bars. This is about finally expelling that hatred you've buried inside and turning it into art. When you walk on that stage, yes, you'll feel the weight of their eyes on you. But if you stand and scream and shout, you'll become the most powerful voice in the room. And when you walk off of it, we got pizza and grape soda to quench your thirst. After the first 4 people went out and did their thing, the dread came back. I knew that after the next person I'd be on stage, and that scared the life out of me. I looked out at the crowd one more time, searching for a reason to run away or something to just give me a reason to not be there anymore. And then I saw her, sitting there watching the show with her friends. I took one more deep breath, and before I knew it, I was on the stage, holding that microphone surrounded by pure silence. Dear Jay, I look out at the crowd one more time, look at her one more time, clench the mic, and then... No! Jada! The right half of the audience, filled with parents and teachers, just gasped, while everyone on the left side, mostly filled with students and classmates, lost their collective shit. I even heard a few of my friends backstage go, I knew it! Then, for 3 minutes straight, I proclaimed my love to this girl in front of everyone I knew. mom, my dad, my sister, my best friends, my teachers, and Jada herself. I never looked at her while I did that poem. Sometimes I still wonder what look was on her face when she heard me scream her name. Guess I'll never know. After the show ended, I walked out of the theater and was patted on the back by pretty much everyone there. I had old heads giving me respect for my cadence and my flow. Few underclassmen gassed me up for having the balls to actually do it, and my poetry club friends did pretty much both. While I did appreciate their approval, I knew I wouldn't feel accomplished if I didn't talk to Jada before I left. So I saw her there in the hallway, looking down at her phone. I walked up to her like a doofus and said, "Hey, you." She giggled for a moment, but then got serious. She said she loved the poem and felt her heart jump out of her body when I said her name, but she didn't feel the same way I did. I could feel my heart plummet out of my chest into my stomach as she explained why. Afterwards, she hugged me and turned to walk out the door. Right when she was about to leave, she looked back once with a slight grin, waved, and said goodbye. And then she was gone. And there I was, alone in an empty hallway, holding back my tears. That moment was one of the most painful I'd ever experienced up to that point. And I don't regret it for a second. While it was dumb for me to put her on the spot by screaming her name, and I do regret embarrassing her like that, I don't regret writing that poem or even going up on that stage. Without that love letter, I would have never became as good as a poet as I am now. Tapping into my emotions was something I had trouble doing until she gave me that extra push. Plus, if I hadn't been on that stage, I'd have never met a certain someone. But I'll save her for another time. Moral of the story? Put yourself first. I should have spent a majority of that time healing my wounds, but I was too busy trying to heal hers, and we all saw how that ended. This goes out specifically to all the people alone on Valentine's Day. Take my words to heart. Don't let your desperation for love keep you from remembering to take care of yourself. And that's why I'm making February 14th a me day, because I deserve it, and you do too. See you later, gamers.
Colors, twisted color, twisted color, twisted color, twisted color, twisted color, twisted color.